We need to talk about the best section in Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil Village did a number of things for me personally. I found it a game that I did not enjoy as a Resident Evil game, all while really enjoying it in every other aspect outside of being a Resident Evil game. And I think most of me loving this game actually comes from this section. Not this section alone, of course, as there were many other things about the game that I actually really enjoyed, but this section. Holy God, this section, it completely blew me away. This was, honest to God, the most scary section from a video game I've ever played. The anxiety-building atmosphere, not knowing what's around every corner, to very well-designed puzzles, and the overall psychological horror aspect to the section. It truly blew every horror section from every Resident Evil game I've ever played out of the water. That includes the claustrophobic, dark, zombie-filled rooms of the police station, even with Mr. X on your tail of Resident Evil 2 Remake, and even, and this one is big for me personally, the horrifying Baker House. Again, even with Jack hot on your trail. This section, without most even realizing it, did so much for Resident Evil, and truly shows what the game could be if they went full horror, or more specifically, psychological horror. Again, as mentioned, the puzzles were great as well. There was even a great amount of anxiety when it comes to the puzzles. The Mia doll laying on the table, every time I'd find a new way to examine it, or a tool to continue examining the doll, I'd expect it to jump to life and grab me, and the best part about it is, it never did. It was just what it seemed to be, a doll. And that helps build the tension so well in a horror game. Is it alive? Is it not? Is it going to jump at me? Is it not? And along with that, the Metal Gear Solid 1 style puzzle, admittedly not as revolutionary or particularly special as MGS1 Psycho Mantis, but it was still great, with the puzzle actually showing the player their next steps. And actually from that exact point, shutting all the lights off in the place and sending the player to backtrack in a dark, claustrophobic space that's eventually filled with an anxiety-inducing red glow. Mia on the radio and the phone messing with Ethan in the player's head, adding to the psychological horror-induced tension, to eventually the more direct but terrifying boss that you don't even fight. What truly helps this area is the fact that the game builds you. It's been building you up from the start. You, from area to area, find new guns, more ammo, upgrades, etc., and all in one instant it takes it away from you and you're completely helpless for this entire sequence. You don't fight the boss, you run. And it's amazing, the tension behind every chase, knowing that you have to get away and you can't fight, don't look back, just go. And even more anxiety-filled horror with having to do a puzzle in the middle of being chased, fixing the elevator breaker box to actually get the hell away from the monster. And before that, to actually get out, not having a choice but to hide under the bed as the terrifying thing searches the room for you. It was horrifying. It's the main sequence from the game that I cannot stop thinking about. Every time I think about Resident Evil Village, I think this sequence. When I know another creator that I enjoy watching has done a playthrough or is doing a playthrough of Resident Evil 8, I look forward to watching them play this part to see their reaction, and that alone is amazing to me. The fact that I want to watch more people play this section, other than myself, just to see their reaction. The only thing that could have made this section even more terrifying than it already was, and even more amazing than it already is VR. I own VR, but I honestly don't know if I could have brought myself to actually play this in VR. I definitely would have tried, but I don't think my VR headset would be in the best of conditions afterwards, with the way I was yelling at the flat screen. It was truly spectacular, and honestly was very reminiscent of the PT demo, the horror game that was never released, but looked like it could have been truly one of the best horror pieces of media ever made. It really does feel like the developers for 8 looked at that and said, how could we implement this into Resident Evil? Well, they figured it out, and it definitely deserves a round of applause. I really, truly hope to God we get more like this from Resident Evil in the future. I'm entirely for a full game of something just like this, psychological horror, because that does tend to be the best and most anxiety-filling horror, to me personally at least. It's still not entirely Resident Evil, but it improves upon what Resident Evil 7 brought to the franchise, and I just want to see more of it. This section was honestly one of the best I've played in a horror game, or really in a video game. it did some things that haven't really been done for me in gaming, and I really just wanted to take a little bit of time and talk about it for all of those people out there who maybe haven't played the game yet, or want to play the game now, or have played the game and just want to see more people talk about this section. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a whole lot more videos for Resident Evil Village. I definitely have more things to say, so we'll see what happens there. But again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. My name is Tootin. I've been your host, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.